Good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your Spider ETF wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for Thursday, and we're at the first day of September 2022, about 5 p.m. So no matter what we look at on the charts, everything tomorrow counts on one report. And this is the all-important jobs data report. The market is now lowered its expectation as a consensus number around 298,000. It had been as high as 3.25, seems to have dropped back a little bit. Still looking for 3.5% unemployment number. So, a couple of variables. Number one, do they revise the 528,000 jobs that they got last month lower? They raise it higher, it's even another element. Do we miss, in some manner, the 298, either sharply lower or over 350,000? Anything over 350 is going to set the market crazy. So a big, important jobs number, one where we keep adding jobs, gets the Fed talking at least 75 points, and wouldn't surprise me if you start hearing some people call out, let's go for 100 points, or let's go for 75, 75, 75, because this thing's just out of control. Here's the big question. Why put yourself in it as a trader? You step back. And this is what I told my traders. Hey, we got the Labor Day weekend. A lot of us did okay on this recent break. Time to take some money off the table one way or the other and march to the sideline. And when you look at GameStop, I just want you to realize every single day we're having a lower low. It's really an unusual event. You see how this looks right here on the Bollinger Band. It's not Bollinger Band, the swing line. Each low is lower. Now on the swing line, that brown line, if you take my full charting course that's on our website under education, you learn what that study's about. It is the mainstay of what you do. Everything you do after that is a filter. You're trying to say, hey, is it trending? That's first. What is a downtrend? Lower highs, lower lows. What's an uptrend? Higher highs, higher lows. But how do you determine in the chart where to put the line? I show it to you. I teach you how to do it by hand on your chart in the charting software, and then we let the indicator take over for you. This is not a trend. This has a higher high, lower low, but it's a vertical price decline. And that happens once you start latching in like that, and you just don't even get a rally to make that higher or lower high. You don't get it at all. That's what's happened here. And you were riding the lower band, the Bollinger Band, that's the black line. And what's the purpose of that? Only 5% of the time will a market trade outside of the Bollinger Band. So even with this massive decline, the band is doing its job. The market's trading to the right-hand side of it, and momentum is embedded, which tells me at any point here you can get a short covering rally for absolutely no reason. It could be the Reddit boys via the meme boys. You don't know what they're going to do. A lot of resistance, though, now shaping up between the 100, the 200, the 18-day average with an embedded reading. So the first time you get a really good rally, could be a two-day rally, who knows? Until you lose that embedded reading, I think the pros will take a look at selling it. Now, you would think that AMC would get a little bit of a boost off the $3 Saturday movies that is being now going to happen this Saturday across the country in the big chains. So if you're going to go to a movie, what a wonderful time to do it for $3. Do me a favor. Buy popcorn, buy a drink, buy water. Give them a shot to make some money. That is what it's all about. All of us love going to the movies. I just think the business model can't exist. As you can see, just sort of drifting away, still in the bear camp, not getting much of an opportunity to do anything. Apple's probably in the Bollinger Band going to play here. Now, are you noticing how many markets are by their Bollinger Bands? Learn how to work with the Bollinger Band. You will learn that I created a 13 video course. See what I do. You do the same thing. We give you the charting software with it, so you go back, you see the same days because all the data is in there, and then I give you a couple of weeks free to look at me in the morning on my videos as I'm doing them every morning at 5:30 in the morning and then at 9, and I walk you right through what you should be doing with them. I can't do more than that, all right? That's how you learn. You're getting down to key numbers. The next support's right here, from anywhere from the Bollinger Band to the 100-day average. Again, September 7th is when they're going to have the release of the new watch and the iPhone 14. There'll be a point here where you get some short covering. The problem for Apple, by the way, and I'll just come back there because the same problem exists now for Disney, is with the recession that we're in. I don't believe we're not in a recession. I accept that we're in a recession. And with that, people are tight for money. If they're tight for money, do I really need to go to a movie theater? What's that going to run? Well, at $3, the family of four can go. During the day, ideally, when they don't pay for a sitter to go at night. If you pay at night, now you got the problem. And maybe you make the kids share the condiments. That could work out. Disney, the same thing. All right, they didn't offer a special, but remember, the parks are going to be what? They're going to lose their traffic. The kids are back in school. Now it's a question is how do their movies do? How well do things come out? And do you really need that Apple Plus? And that's what's pushing it down. Huge support, 107.94 to 107.41. Oversold market. I'm looking for an area where it's going to bounce. I'm not looking to be a buyer, just looking for the area where it's going to bounce from. In XLF, today was cover all short day. The first time you hit a Bollinger Band and you're oversold in the market, it's the same as when you get up to the upside. You step away, you take the, how do I say this? The filet, that best piece of meat. That's what you were offered. And why would you go through the jobs data report? What if the data's friendly? How high are you going to get if you're that bearish? Maybe you have opportunities up here and here. Then XLI. Well, I said 2 days ago that the combination of the 100-day average and the Bollinger Band is where I think the pros covered shorts. It's a little lower now, not very much. Still oversold market. Semiconductors getting annihilated. The government is now telling NVIDIA, AMD, and all these other companies there are limitations to what you can sell to China in terms of artificial intelligence, what the chips are capable of doing, and so on. Already NVIDIA is saying it's going to cost them in business an upcoming quarter, they said, $400 million. That's big. AMD doesn't have quite that exposure, but you can see this battle keeps going on, and rightly so. We should bring all this home. You do realize another city has now closed down. In China tonight, 21 million people are basically locked in a chip-making city. In other words, this is what they do around there because they had 900 cases of COVID, and the government of China, the reality is they can't deal with it. Their vaccines either don't work, they can't get them to the people, so they just tell the people, stay home, and we'd rather you kill your economy. Oh, we'll worry about you paying your bills later. Nah, there's enough food. We'll have delivery services. Maybe. Depends how long it all lasts, right? But they're continuing to do it. The draconian method. It's like putting leeches on your body. That's what I equate it to. The old days when you look at the castles and Merlin would come in, or whoever the doctor was, oh, we have this, we'll put these leeches on you. Well, I think modern medicine is good enough to do more things than China is doing. And XHB, catching a little bit of traction down here on the Bollinger Band. It is embedded. It is bearish as can be. The market's looking to see this. Give you the story that it's looking at. If the jobs data comes in weaker than thought, and you're looking at the price of energies, you're looking at the price of aviation fuel, just giving you an idea, gasoline down 80 days plus in a row, and you look at other goods that are falling back, you're saying, hey, maybe the government doesn't have to go as much as they did, and maybe that's a help. The problem is mortgage rates are right up through the roof. And if you had a $400,000 home from I was reading the report from a year ago, you're paying $400 a month more. That prices a lot of people out. So you got to be careful here. Bounces, yes, no change in direction that I'm seeing. On the energy sector, if China's shutting down again and they buy this vast amount of Russian oil, wouldn't they be slowing down those purchases? I mean, now we're looking at this city. What's the next city to fall? Once the COVID starts, we've seen it, it just goes to all the provinces. And on 31 of their main provinces that make up mainland China, they have had COVID. Now 900 cases triggered this. I'm sure we're going to hear more about it. What does that do to the energy demand? When a city comes at a standstill, factories don't work, you don't have to use public transportation, fuel just goes like that, the demand for it. Remember that. GLD, how do you fight this economy wanting to own gold? It doesn't make sense to me. Same thing in the gold miners. If the product's no good, that's what you've got here. No, things will find an area to bounce because there's always traders that go, no, it's a storage of value, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't pay for itself. Interest rates are high. The government's committed to fighting inflation. And if this jobs report is hot, and I know as much about it as you do at this point, it's even another headwind for gold. If the government's going to back off, being not the government, the Fed, because the Fed is not the government. The Fed is the Fed. They're independent. If the Fed had reason to go, look at that 528,000 job, that was off by 200,000. I'm just making this up. And instead of 298,000, we got 200,000 new jobs. Maybe things are really better than we thought. 50 basis point hike back on the table for the September 21st meeting. That's one scenario. You know, the other is you get 350, 400,000 jobs. No revisions for last month, or maybe a revision higher. What would that do? Got the point? TLT, what do you do the first time you hit the lower Bollinger Band? You're not embedded. Cover shorts. Learn how to do this. The trend has been down, by the way. UUP, still in the bull camp here. Will it make it to the upper Bollinger Band? That's the big story for the morning. Will it do that? How are these markets going to react from it? And FXC, head fake yesterday. I'll show you this one. It's interesting. You know, when you lose an embedded reading, when the market closed over 20, and 21 actually. If you look at this, there's Tuesday. Here's Wednesday, the 31st, today. Now, this is going to be how we're going to get into the markets going on for Thursday and so on. But here's yesterday. You lost the embedded reading. Day before, if we look, you hadn't. You're out. And today, you got it back. Head fake. It happens. It's rare, but it happens. And you pay attention. Now the bear play is back on. Tomorrow will determine if it stays in place off the jobs data report. That's the way to look at it. So when you put it all together, you're trying to figure out what to do. Twitter's still interesting. What is Mr. Musk going to do? He probably, in my opinion, could probably get $4 off the share easily, get to a $50 number with Twitter. I think the board there would settle with him on that, and he saves quite a bit of money. But if he's thinking a $40 number, 43, 44, if he still wants it for that, I think they'll fight him all the way, and he has to win this thing in court, and I don't like his side. He did say he's done away with his due diligence. He signed off. I understand this argument, and you should, what fraud is. Okay, if there was fraud committed by Twitter. So now what do we have? Well, I want you to take a look at this, and please, here you got a few days ahead of you before the season begins. Let's say that you take off and you learn a little bit. 13 chapters. I'm going to change the way you look at charts when it comes to Bollinger Bands, support and resistance points, probably forever. Can't guarantee it because I don't know how much you're going to learn. If you learn the way I teach it, I'd say good chance it's probably forever. Take a look at this. Welcome. I'm Ira Epstein, and I'm here to talk about my enhanced Bollinger Band course. Now, many of you have taken my regular charting course, and if not, you might think you know something about Bollinger Bands. As you know, Bollinger Bands are an algorithm designed to keep the market trading within it 95% of the time. And on a chart, it will offer on the top part resistance, on the bottom support, and the idea is the market will travel within them. We know that sometimes it latches onto that band, goes up or goes down. Well, how do you play with that? Can you pyramid the positions off that type of thinking? Well, I've applied all three of these into 13 different videos that teach you my concept of it. And from that concept, you're able to work with weekly charts and or daily charts. The 13 videos, each about 7 minutes long. The idea here is not to put you in school forever, but to teach. Now, If you haven't tried my complete futures research, I throw that in as well. Whether you've tried this or not, I think it's worth taking a look at. I think you're going to learn something from there. That research, by the way, covers twice daily market updates for you and access to what I call window envelope numbers, which I think are very important when looking at these Bollinger Bands. The next part is a trial to our charting software so you can make your charts look the same way that mine do. It's that simple. Where do you go with it and how do you get all this? It's simple. You go to our website, www.iraepstein.com. If you go to the word education, everything you need is answered there. You can also call my staff. They'll be happy to help you get set up. I'm Ira Epstein, on the road to your education.